Hello, welcome, welcome. This is Supercharged Fridays, and this is the 296th edition of live streaming every Friday here on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. How are you doing? Welcome back. And if it's your first time, I'm happy you're here. My name is Sonal Behel. I'm a career strategist, and I help people who are transitioning in their career to have a better role that pays better and that makes them look forward to Monday morning. If this is you, best place to be every Friday. We hang out and we go over what's been on your mind this past week. Do you have questions? Do you need any help? I may have perspectives. And I use this as an excuse. I have my cup of tea. I have my cup of tea regardless of weather, but now it's starting to get a bit chilly here in Brussels. And it's a good excuse to have like a really nice warm cup of tea right here between my hands and chat. What's been on your mind? Do you need any help? Safe space. Hang out every Friday. This is a safe space, non judgmental. There is no wrong question here. Okay, with that said, I'm going to take a sip. And if you're watching me live, come in and say hi into the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I'm just going to take a quick check. Okay. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me properly, right? Give me a yes in the comments. That everything is working. I actually forgot to bring my phone, so I can't check in terms of devices if everything is okay. I'm guessing it is. I'm going to take a quick check on the tech front. It's always good to see that it is working. And hopefully it is. If it isn't, I'm going to find out in 2-3 minutes if it's really quiet. All right. If you're watching me live, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. And what's your name? You want to give me your name? That's fine. You don't have to share your name. Okay? Oh, you tuning in from Pakistan. Thank you for being here. Nice to have you there. Assalamu alaikum. Serena, hi. Welcome back. How are you in California? Early morning for you. What are your thoughts on professional portfolios and using them for job searches? I think that can be very helpful. Serena, when you say professional portfolio, let me know what you have in mind. Typically, a professional portfolio is a lot more used in the creative fields. Someone who's a performer, they will have like headshots or they'll have like, some selections of their work, um, or a photographer, right? Or something sort of visual. But the way I teach, like in resume and LinkedIn and stuff like that, especially when you're going in for an interview, I would not limit it to only the creative arts. So I like that idea. I think there is a time and place to bring that up. So let me know what you have in mind, like follow-up questions in there. I'd like to help you think about this. Okay? Because from what I remember from your story, you are looking for an executive assistant role. So I think a very well-written resume can help you just fine. Professional portfolio, what would that include? Let me know about that. I hope you understand where I'm coming from, right? Just sort of some follow-up there. All right. While I wait to hear back from Serena, what else? What else? This would be if you have something on your mind and you're like, I don't quite know how to frame my question. Totally fair. This is how my coach approaches questions in her group when we do group calls with her, and I'm one of her clients. She says, start like this. My problem is X. My ideal outcome is Y. My question is Z. It helps the person reading as well. It also helps you in terms of how to frame it. Not just like right now, but in general, whenever you ask a question, it's a good way to do it for you to articulate and for the person to listen. All right. And last thing is, I work with a very select group of experienced professionals who are looking at getting into more senior roles where they feel a bit stuck, right? If that is you and you're not quite sure how to move from where you are to the next role, then think about scheduling a game plan call with me. Superchargeyourself.com/game plan. This is a completely no pressure call. We get to spend 45 minutes to an hour together. But before we do that, there is an application for you to fill out. So even inside the application, I need a few questions answered so I get a better idea. And based on your answer, it's like an application, right? So based on your answers, I'm actually may realize maybe I'm not the right person to help you. So then I'll tell you so I don't waste your time. It's very, I believe in being transparent, right? And not sort of just showing up to the call and saying, hey, you need to join my program. My program may not be the best fit for you, which is why it doesn't hurt. So go and check out the link if you think you are at like this middle level for a while, you want to get into a senior level and you're feeling stuck. Okay, superchargeyourself.com/game plan. Okay, do we have a response from Serena? Hey, Serena. I created an amazing one from Canva, very graphic heavy, targeting my EA skills, 30, 60, 90-day plans, tech stack. Mm-hmm. I get that, Serena. And I'm still trying to secure full time work. I'm getting interviews, but just cannot get the ball over the goal. Oh man, I feel so stuck for you. I feel so frustrated for you. You know, Serena, you've been coming here for a few months now. So you obviously, like, you've been following my work. Do I have your permission to give you some tough love? Is that okay? Let me know. Because one has to feel very safe to do this, right? Do I have your permission to give you some tough love? Just write Y for yes and N for no. I think others who are watching will also learn with what I have to say. Okay. I appreciate your trust. I appreciate your trust. Okay. Serena, I think from what I understand about you, you are a stellar executive assistant. You get stuff done and you have a lot of experience. Okay. And why is it that you're not able to get interviews? There's multiple reasons. Okay. There's the external, which is market is difficult and people are going back and forth. Okay. While that is true, that is even more true for more sort of, let's say, senior, even more sort of, I'm not saying your role is not visible. So I have to choose my words carefully. It's even more true for like, director, VP, executive type roles. So you don't have control over what's happening in the economy and the government and all of that stuff. You don't have control over that. You do have control on how you're showing up. And based on the number of interviews you've had, what's going on here? This is a difficult thing to ask because it means sort of facing the mirror and finding out what's going on. Because whether we like it or not, the common denominator in all of these interviews is us, right? So in your case, is there something that you unconsciously you're saying that is not helping you, or somehow you're showing up which is not helping you? And the reason I say this, because I know you're so you're probably so good at what you do, right? And there will always be a need for an executive assistant who gets stuff done and for an executive assistant who has thick skin. I think so. I think so. Right? So it's about now working on things that will actually move the needle. And, the portfolio, and I'm sure it's beautiful and I'm sure it's fancy. But that's also so frustrating that you created that and it still resulted in crickets. So it's not about your document, it's not about this. It's about like, where are you applying? And why aren't you at least getting like more and more interviews, right? Because I think it's been a while. You said you haven't even had interviews. So why can't we see more of that? Who can help you? Who can be your champion? Could it be like search firms, temp staffing agencies that have a lot more access to those type of roles than you do? There's a huge, lots more where that comes from. I'm just sort of, you know, scaling the tip of the iceberg here. So for me, I don't know if you need to work harder, but it's a question of maybe doing less and doing a few things, but doing them well. So good luck with that. I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. I wish you the best. Rana Joy, hi, Kiko Board. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm happy you're here. Uzair, what factors influence salary negotiations the most behind besides technical skills? I'm not quite sure I follow the question, Uzair. I don't quite know directly between technical skills and salary negotiation. There are many people who have really good technical skills who don't negotiate their salary. So I don't quite know if there is a causality in what you're saying, but I can tell you for sure one of the biggest things that helps people to negotiate salary is to have, number one, less detachment to how it's going to work out, meaning not very tied to the outcome, but sort of coming from a place of curiosity. I'm going to ask. And second is quiet confidence in themselves. When you ask for something, like you get something and you say, thank you so much. In addition, may I ask for XYZ? That takes confidence. That comes from a place of confidence. So, and that confidence comes from a place of knowing what you're doing, practicing, not just practicing negotiation, but also the work practice, right? You spend hours, hundreds and thousands of hours doing something really well. So for example, if I'm a cost engineer, I have good idea of what the market pays. I believe I should be there. Why? I have put in the work. I have receipts. I have practice. I have proof. So the confidence, if it doesn't come naturally, it comes from a place of having done the work. So for me, it's more about that. And I don't know if this is what you meant when you say technical skills, but anyone can learn how to negotiate. There is a playbook, anyone can learn it. And I teach a lot of that for free inside my YouTube channel. So take a look at the entire playlist. I think that should help you. Okay, I hope that answers your question. I'm applying everywhere. I know, and I'm a client at the top 5 staffing firms as well. Okay. I know, I don't doubt that you're applying everywhere. Top 5 staffing firm is good. That sounds much more promising to me. And also, everyone, whether they know you or you haven't met them in 20 years or 10 years, make sure they know, and their grandmother and their dog. It's these kind of roles can sometimes close very fast because of word of mouth, right? You go to the gym, somebody mentioned it, you go for a walk, somebody mentioned it in yogurt shop, you're like, I'm looking for some, you never know where that lead comes from. So when something is not working, think about like out of the box ways of doing things. And I think sometimes it's kind of helpful to imagine you are back in like the 80s or the 90s and like flyers, and I'm not saying create a flyer, but like stepping out of that 4x4 screen into like the actual world, going into meetings, talking to people, um even like walk in. I'll tell you why most people don't do this. And if you see a particular company which continues to advertise that they're hiring at like roles that you just give them a phone call. They're growing, they need help, say give me a try, bring me on for a month. If you don't like it, no worries, make it easy for people to say yes, right? So if something is not working, like you've applied I think over like 100 times, right? What else can you do to interrupt the pattern interrupt? Okay. Career change from non-technical to technical. How can we convey in interview to success? Okay. First is, why do you want to do it? You need to have some sort of motivation. And second is, how have you done it? You need to have some proof, right? So if you've moved from non-technical to technical. You need to show. Usually there might be like a competency, technical competency, like a test or something like that. So I'd be happy to do that. But talk about your motivation. Why are you interested in this? More than what you say, it's how you say it, right? And saying, I've had lots of success with this type of role, and I'm really compelled. I'm really curious to learn more about this. This is what I want to do for the next few years, and I'm very passionate about. Like, this is the reason I like it, and here are examples on how I've actually applied this. Showcase that. It's about your motivation and showing that, right? And like I said, it's not just what you say; it's how you say it. How do you take a follow up from HR? Juhi, I don't quite know not quite sure I follow the question. Okay, here you're expanding further. I'm done with the interview at two companies, but HR has held my candidature. How do I follow up? Um, a simple like one liner, right? Um, hey, we met. I just wanted to, check in with you. We met on the 14th of September. I had a very good experience speaking with members of your team. Maybe give names of the team members, and I look forward. If there are any other steps, if you have any other questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. So go from that place, so that it helps you understand what exactly is going on. You definitely don't want to keep it like, you definitely don't want to be quiet about this, right? And this is something that comes up a lot actually, and which is why I have created email scripts. You can check them out. Uh, email templates. No, give me a sec. What have I created? I don't even know. I will hook you up with that resource. Email guide. Email guide. It's called email guide. But actually, it's more than email guide. It actually has like the scripts that you can use, including how to follow up with HR. Okay, so check that out. You just have to go to my website. So superchargeyourself.com email guide. Superchargeyourself.com/email guide. Okay, I hope that helps you. I wish you the best. All right. And all the best, Juhi. Okay. Hi, Safi. How are you? I'm fine. Thank you for asking. If a company didn't promote an employee in 2 years and 2 months, what should be done by the employee? Tell me from both perspectives, employee and employer. I mean, it sounds like it's coming from a place of like, I don't think the employer is obliged to promote unless there were promises made. Why is there an expectation that in 2 years there should be a promotion? Do you know what I mean? Things should have moved in that direction. People don't wake up suddenly and say, I'm going to give you a promotion, Safi. That's one. It depends on their expectations of the role, right? Here, completely unfiltered, I'm sharing with you. From your side, if you want it, then you need to start talking about it. Have a chat with your manager. Understand how the process works. Say, I see myself moving at this particular position by this particular time. I'd like your advice. If they don't see the value there, then you might be in the wrong company because they have made up their mind they see you in a certain way. I've seen this, by the way, in my own companies that I worked at, right? So it's like internally there was an opening and there was a senior sort of level role. Let's say, I don't know, senior project manager, and a project manager inside wants to apply. What happens a lot of the time is inside talent reviews between HR and the different business heads, they have already identified who that project manager is going to be at that level. Why didn't you get tapped on the shoulder? I can't answer that for you. But if you're unhappy after a while, there is no harm starting to look around and seeing what else is out there while still keeping your job. Okay? I think you've come here a few times with these type of questions, and I can imagine how frustrated you must be. Right? So, yeah, I wish you the best. Hi, Naja. I have that problem too, as Serena. Sometimes we have high expectations of others to see the value we bring. Try to meet the interviews where they are. Target wisely. Wise words. Wise words. Yeah. All right, Juhi. You're very welcome. I wish you the best. Um, I feel the frustration. Companies are, especially at like senior, slightly more middle to senior levels, they're starting to get very, like, they're starting to stall. I'm seeing this a lot. They give all the signals that they're interested, and everything looks really good. And then they go quiet, they go dark. That's awful because you spent a lot of time and effort and energy with that. So, the one thing that I can tell you, one bitter lesson that comes from this is never do too much with one company. Like, they'll tell you to create a case, they'll tell you to create a 90-day plan, and you put all your heart and soul into it. Do not stop other processes in parallel. Don't stop that, because we don't know with these guys. Past experience shows you can't, even when they say it's going well. It's happened to a couple of my clients inside my group program where they were pretty much told it's a done deal, and they got so many positive signals, including, yes, the offer is coming, and then they go quiet. So obviously there was an internal like shift, something changed, and they pivoted. But it's very unfair when they make these kind of encouraging signs, because we then, what happens is we stall our other processes. So lesson learned, don't stall, don't keep anyone else waiting, treat everybody with equal importance, because you need one of them to get to the finish line. we and it's not a done deal till you have two sets of signatures. I always say this to my clients. It's not a done deal till we have two sets of signatures on that contract. Till then, keep everyone happy. And if you are like, but Sonal, I only have one process going on, no problem. But that doesn't mean you stop outreach. So you increase the number of your of people and positions in your pipeline in the top of the funnel. Never stop doing that. Even if you're like, but I'm in the salary negotiation phase, I need to spend a lot of time negotiating and preparing. No, no, you don't. I have a lot of material in my YouTube channel to help you. Of course, you need to practice it and you need to be ready for it. But it ain't over till it's over. So keep everybody, like, keep it moving. Okay? You're welcome, Safi. I wish you the best. Ah, yes. Happy Navratras to you as well, Praneeth. Thank you. Thank you so much. Getting ducks in a row a few quarters ahead of time is imperative for a promotion. Milestone checkpoints. Yeah. Safi, that's a very good point that Ranjha was bringing up in LinkedIn. I see that you're on YouTube. And I say this as well many times, like, you don't want to just come up out of the blue and ambush your manager and sort of just, you know, out of, blindside. But you want to bring this up little and frequently. Keep bringing it up frequently, because let them also know very clearly that you're ambitious and you've been thinking about this. And by the way, Safi, no response is a response. No response is a response. It's painful to say. It's painful to hear. I know that. But that tells you everything you need to know, right? All right. Any anyone else with any other thoughts that are circling around? Let me know. No? You can sit here quietly and stare at each other. Okay. Okay. It's the last Friday of September, and it's also the last Friday of Q3. So if you're like, "Hmm, by now I should have been in X, Y, and Z," take a chill pill. Don't be hard on yourself. Okay? Identify a few things that you can do, maybe less things that you can do to take action, and do those really well, as opposed to sort of spraying, right? As opposed to spraying everywhere and hoping for a response. It's not about doing more of that, it's about doing a few things differently. Okay. Hey, Noel, thank you for being here. All right. With that said, I am, I think, done for today. I don't see any other questions. Thank you for hanging out with me this Friday. Take care of yourself and your family. And I shall see you at the same time next Friday.